Hey guys, and welcome to Lookout exclusive deck profile. Um, Before I start anything, I would like to say that I tried this deck a couple of times, but I settled on the leader for this weekend, and I managed to play at our locals, and I won. I went undefeated 2-0. So after a brief sponsor message from Card Market, we will be entering the deck profile.
Card Market is Europe's largest platform for all TCGs. Always find the right cards by buying and selling them across Europe with other players and collectors. Be it singles, boosters, booster boxes, or any other accessories, you name it. Card Market is the place to get them safely, securely, and readily available.
So, welcome back. Um, Before I start and enter discussing the list, I would like to say that I tried to settle with a leader for the Janemba chain that came out in Vicious Rejuvenation. I like blue, and I wanted to try something roguish. I am a Shadow Dragon player and a dedicated Invoker player. Besides that, I tried to play Reboot Gohan Clash, where maybe you remember the Dredgeku deck that was on the card market event. I don't know, it was top 16, I believe, or top 8. I forgot. Who, yeah, who can say that? Well, I tried playing the Pycon leader with the so first off, I decided to ignore the Soul Striker variant right off the bat because I did not see that I would gain much with the Soul Striker leader. I thought that okay, so you have the option to untap energy, but this deck, the Janemba chain actually has a lot of energy to spend. So if you don't have any energy to spend other than the one or two you need to reset the chain or even evolve on top of it, you basically don't do anything else. So you have more energy than you think. On turn 3, if everything goes well, on turn 3 you have the energy necessary. But if your opponent in any manner stalls you out for a turn and doesn't do anything to your existing Janemba, you basically have 4 extra energy that are always blue. So I tried firstly with the Pycon leader, mainly because he filters through the top 2 cards. You can see what you're taking and what you're not. You can decide what to ramp, and we will see what will we ramp after. Um, and I played West Galaxy Revival just so I can use the extra turn 1 setup play. And if you do everything well with the West Galaxy Revival, you can play an Intersecting Fates. And after the Intersecting Fates, when your energy gets untapped during your opponent's turn, you can combo with the Nimbus Master from Draft Box 3. The main issue I saw with that was that Pycon is an okay leader, but his awakened skills weren't that really relevant. He can bounce a blocker, that's for sure, and he can yeah, rearrange your top 3 cards, but it just wasn't necessary enough. The other variant was the Goku Black version. I used the errata version from the revision pack. You can ramp, but I wasn't really happy with it because if it doesn't go off on turn 2, then it's just dead weight. It just doesn't make any sense. Uh, and lastly, I tried Trunks Adolescence, the Trunks leader from set 10, because I expected that the European scene has a lot of critical attackers. We on our locals have the Jax, we have Red Broly, we have a lot of, yeah, and we have the OG Broly, the new one with the demonic restraints. So there are a lot of critical attackers, so I wanted to play Trunks. Just so I cannot be credit that every swing that I ever get to my leader, I can take the cards from there to my hand, and so I can have an uninterrupted Janemba chain in any capacity, in any way. The reason I went with Vegito was this. So I'm using Deck Planets to show you the card list, and this is basically the deck I was playing this Saturday. Round 1 I went against VJX, the new the new version. We have a player who plays tall and low, so it has a lot of 1 drops and a lot of 4 drops, the standard VJX line of play. Uh, I won 2-0. After that, I went against a Mecha Frieza, and I knew that I would go against Mecha Frieza in one point or another. So that's the reason I chose Vegito. And round 3, I played against Red Broly BR, and we all know his oppressiveness with the swap chain and the critical attackers. That was one of the reasons I wanted to play Trunks. But I will go through the deck and tell you what I've learned and why did I decided on Vegito. So the Janemba chain basically does not, it's not leader locked, so you can have any blue leader. I wanted to try with a deck that can potentially go on turn 2. That's why I chose the Zeno Unison. So Zeno is here that during your turn 1 play, you play your Dr. Rhoda, who still has an unknown potential, but one day we will find out what it is. And 2 Oops Power of Hope, just for consistency's sake, so you can draw them on turn 1. Vegito was chosen because when you have a lot of negates that will floodgate you in a manner that yellow has Nimbus, and they will try to play the Nimbus on your Janemba. You can attack with your battle cards once more, and you can attack with your leader. But in Vegito, the Unison is the lethal one. So Janemba can attack until your opponent has 3 life. You can stop there with the chain, and then when you have your extra energy, your Unison will attack for the rest. You will use every remaining energy and every remaining Senzu Bean you have in your hand to pump your Unison up to a bazillion of power, and with the triple strike, if it goes through, you can literally win the game then and there. So if my opponent stalls my turn 3 play, on turn 4 I will try to use the Janemba as much as I can, and after that, and not use any energy while doing that, and if it goes through, my Zeno Unison will finish the game. So you're putting your opponent in a pretty rough spot where he has to choose if he wants to defend against the Janemba or the Unison, and that's not pleasant. The other reason I chose Vegito is because of his early awakening, and his early awakening is that you draw the 2 cards and then you flip yourself over, so you can draw any additional remaining cards that you're not having in your hand in that moment. So you can be missing a ball, or I don't know, a Janemba 3 drop or anything like that, or even a beam, whatever's necessary. As you can see with the list, this is a 50 card list. This is a pretty balls to the walls aggro build with only 2 negates, and those are the SS2 trunks. So let's go through the cards. The Vegito leader is, I would like to say it's self-explanatory, but it's not. The Vegito leader on his non-awakened side is a basic blue leader who draws when he attacks, and when one of your blue battle cards or unison cards is removed from play via KO'd skill or removed from battle area by a skill, not an attack skill of course, you can flip the leader, draw 2 cards, and then have him being in 15k. So it's okay to have an early awakening and a leader that has 15k. And then the leader's effect is that when you lose a card on your side of the field, so either a unison or a blue battle card, you can untap an energy and draw a card. So even when losing, you can actually gain some advantage. The Zeno was used simply because of the ramping effect. He can disrupt the Frieza charismatic villain types of play, and he can potentially stop a big battle card that, I don't know, has a double strike or something like that that can really damage you in any kind of way. It can disrupt the Broly chain or anything like that. The SS2 Trunk Surrounding Prospect was used as a negate primarily because of Red Broly, uh, and he's a 15k beat stick, nothing else, just that's the only reasoning I have because of that. Uh, we had a player who wanted to play Dark Broly, but he decided on another deck this Saturday, and Trunks is really good against Dark Broly also. So the 4 Dr. Rhodas and 2 Oops are here because of the early awakening. Even if your chain and your turn can become stopped by a Floodgate negate, you can use an Oob or a Rhoda to be pseudo negate to have a blocker on board. You can draw your card because you have a Unison on board, and Rhoda can tap your energy. He can draw you a card with the leader swing, and so on and so on. When we're discussing the Janemba chain, I went with a 3-3 split between the 2 and the 3 drop skillless Janemba. The reasoning behind that was the first variant had 4 2 costs and 2 3 costs. But since I have the Chilled and the Nimbus Master, um, the play was to discard the 3 drop or the 2 drop from hand to play the Chilled for free. You can play the Chilled when you have 3 or more energy. So even if I'm maybe getting ahead of myself here. So your line of play is on turn 1, you play a Dr. Rhoda or an Oob. Sometimes you cannot choose, so you play the Oob. On turn 2, your ideal play is to play Xeno Unison, and you ramp the 3rd energy. What happens on your opponent's turn after your turn 1 is that you block with one of your 1-drops, and when you untap your energy with the Dr. Rhoda, that's only possible if you draw the Dr. Rhoda and you play it on the first turn. You combo with the Nimbus Master on the open energy, and then you play the Janemba 2-drop onto your battle area. On turn 2, you play the Xeno, and then you start the chain after you ramp your 3rd energy. You play the Bewitching Blow. He enters play in a manner that if you have 3 or more energy, you can return a skillless battle card that has to be blue with a cost between 2 and 3, return it to your hand, and then play this dual attack critical 19k demon. The general plan was to play Rhoda on turn 1. The opponent will attack you, you will block, you will untap an energy, draw 2 cards, awaken. If your opponent will attack you again by any chance, you will pray that he will, and you have a Nimbus Master in your hand. You will combo the Nimbus Master, saving yourself from the damage from that attack again. And then you will play the 2-cost Janemba. The Nimbus Master, his only flaw is that he is red. And I will talk about the later improvements I will make to this build. The thing that I have to say that Nimbus Master, if he doesn't go off on your first turn, it's not very likely that you will play him on your 2nd turn or your 3rd turn. Maybe, I don't know, in a scenario where you can play him, combo him, and then you will play a Janemba 2-cost to combo him away, so to give yourself a plus 15k defense in some kind of way. Maybe you will use him offensively, but that's rarely an example. You can use him to combo your Xeno for the 10 instead of using the 2 blue energy for Vegito, but it's all very situational. The 3 Nimbus Masters were put here just because of the turn 1 awakening part. Why not 4? Just because of the dead draws that can happen later in the game, and I'm trying to reduce the number of non-blue cards so that when Xeno ramps, you can actually use all of your blue cards in some capacity. During your turn 2, you will play your Xeno, you will have an open energy, he will ramp an open energy, and then you will proceed with your Janemba chain. You will use the 2-drop, he will attack. If you're not playing against green, he will attack. Then you will swap him for the Bewitching Blow. He will attack 2 times. After that, you will use the 5-star ball, put it under the Janemba, and then you will search your deck or your hand and put it on top of the Bewitching Blow. The 4-drop Janemba Dark Parasite is really cool because if you're playing 2nd and your opponent has 2 or more energy, when he attacks, he can warp a battle card. If he doesn't, you untap an energy and draw a card. The opponent will pretty much warp the card, unless he really doesn't have anything to do with it. Then he will warp. Then he will not warp it, so he can not give you the extra energy. After your Dark Parasite attacks for 20k critical, you will evolve on top of him with the open blue energy, and the only remaining blue open energy, if you're not using the Senzu Bean in one of the attacks, and you will evolve into the Rampaging Demon Janemba. For 1 blue, he evolves on top of the Dark Parasite. He's a critical dual attacker who draws a card when entering the play. Draws 2 cards. Sorry about that. He's a 25k attacker. Out of the 6 matches I played, 3 matches. On 3 matches, the gameplay I just mentioned happened. During the other ones, you have some kind of an improvisational window on your turn 3. If the Nimbus Master effect does not go through, so if the circumstances just don't fall through that you can do that on your first turn, um, you actually have to rely on the chilled greatest part in the cosmos. So after Zeno ramps you the 3rd energy and you do not have a skillless battle card in play, you will play chilled greatest part in the cosmos by discarding one of the skillless cards. There are 6 skillless cards in the deck, so it's pretty consistent because of that. And you have his option as that when he enters play, he will enter for free, because when you have 3 or more energy, you will discard a skillless card and he will enter for free. He will attack your opponent, and if he does damage to the leader or the unison, if he removes the marker from the unison, you can search your deck or drop area for a skillless card with a cost 3 or less and play it. You will play the Janemba 3 drop, because he is a 30k Janemba who is a 3 drop that after he swings, he's pretty much unbeatable. The damage will go through, it's too early in the game. You can start the Janemba chain, the Xeno Janemba chain, with a 5-star ball, because he's a 3 cost Janemba. Some of the things that are still here, I'm sorry about that. I use the combo attack Janemba. There are 2 of them just in the deck. His effect that he bursts 2, you take an evil incarnate or a demon card from your battle area and return it to your hand, and then you play this one and take 2 life, up to 2 life from your life. The reasoning behind this card was that I put it into so I could potentially restart the Janemba chain later in the game, but it never actually came through. Your leader is basically always useful, and if you leave your Janemba chain up really early in the game, you will not have the open energy sometimes, and you cannot replay it again. The opponent will try to negate or outcombo the attack on the chilled, but when he attacks a unison, if they don't negate the unison attack, he will make the damage and you will play your 3 drop. So I did not attack the leader that often. I attacked the unison. I made the mark removal with his attack, so I played the Janemba and then I just started my chain. The super combo of choice for this deck was Vegito Disciplined Warrior, just because he draws 2 cards. And you can put your extra, I don't know, Nimbus Masters, Combo Attack Janembas, or even the Zenos, because they're not comboable. In hand, you put them on the bottom of the deck, you draw 2 cards. One of the issues I found while playing this super combo was that since you awaken really early and you awaken at 8 life, I found myself in a lot of situations where I was sitting at turn 4 with 8 life just like that, so I couldn't even use my super combos. So I'm thinking about switching them, like two Vegetas and 2 Trunks from set 12, which is a super combo for blue that is a 10k combo and draws you a card if you have a blue unison in play. So that is one of the things I have to really think about. But if you're playing against a really aggro deck, the Vegetos are better. But if you're playing against any other mid-range deck, you will not have 4 life really early in the game, so you will lack your draw power and your super combo push. The 3 Senzu Bean are here. I tried to play 4, they were too much. I'm even thinking about bumping them down to 2, since you're not using it really often. Even your leader is not using it defensively. It comes, I don't know, I play it maybe once a match, and then it's really, I don't know, you play it for, it's like a really decorative play. It's never really necessary to untap your energy because you have a lot of them. The matchups that I mentioned before. So VGX was really easy, just because they do not have a floodgate negate. So when you start attacking, they cannot really stop you. They can block with one of the trunks. They can out combo some of the attacks, negate some of the attacks, power burst the critical damage you're trying to make, and take the sparking to hand. They can use the Kai to put +10, and they will use it really often against you. But there's just too much attacks here that cannot be comboable. Against Mecha Frieza, that was a really interesting matchup where I every Janemba attack was nimbused really early. The advice I can give you if you decide to play a deck like this was you try to attack with the Janemba chain as early as possible, so they have to use all of their nimbuses right away. After they use their Nimbus, you can attack with your Unison for the triple strike. They will have to block it or really negate it. So after a couple of turns, they will not have any blockers or any negates, and they actually can't hurt you that much because, yeah, they can really mess up your lines of play with the Poutines, with the Bardocks, Reader's War Cries. They can use the Awakens Leader effect to tap your cards, but after really making a lot of pressure in the early turns, they don't have a lot of counter attacks. So everything after that will become a physical battle. They will have to enter combat. Since you don't have a lot of battle cards in play, they cannot use their Zamasa super combo really efficiently. So they will usually just rest your leader because you will attack with the battle card first because they have Nimbus. Uh, when they do not use Nimbus, they will use the Zamasa super combo and they will rest your leader. But don't fret too much because that one card that your leader will draw, it's not that important because when you have the Janemba chain, everything is all right. After you make your Janemba plays, you just swing with the Unison. If it goes through, just pump it up to 11, and that was a Spinal Tap reference, and it will be just fine. The the Red Broly matchup was really difficult because of the critical swings, not because of anything else. If you have your heroic prospect, you will stop their turn immediately on that spot. If they try to attack, you will out combo every attack. You can disrupt their plays with the God Sealing technique. They will try to attack your units as much as possible, which is okay because that means they won't attack your leader that much. But since they will attack your leader with the critical damage with one or two super combos you have in hand, you will be able to defend yourself against any other attacks that will come to you, on you, or anything like that. They have a really tricky spot where when you establish a Rhoda or an Oob in your second or third turn, uh, they if they don't kill it, if they somehow, I don't know, rest it, try to attack through them, if they use their Piccolo Unison to -5 them, you will draw a card and you will untap an energy, which they won't do because of that. One of the fun parts about playing against Red Broly with this deck is that when you try to attack with your skillless Janemba on their leader, they will probably use Violent Rays uh, because they want to stop your 20k attacks. But what will happen? When you swap into the Bewitching Blow Janemba, he's a 19k. You attack and just oppress their leader enough. So they have to either block it with the boss or they have to defend it physically. Just to put cards that are out of their hand. And after you use the Bewitching Blow, you evolve yourself into the Dark Parasite just so the Bewitching Blow doesn't get warped at the end of the turn so you don't lose your card in play. He will stay in active mode. After you use that, you will use your Unison, and Unison will attack for the triple strike, even just to poke him. If the attack goes through, just pump it, I don't know, +10 with the leader ability, so it's 19k, and give it a super combo or give it something just to pressure them into defending themselves to lose cards in hand. So that is pretty important. One of the changes I would make right now, and it will be made, since the Nimbus Master play is not that reliable, I will be swapping the third copy of the Nimbus Master for a third copy of the Chilled Greatest Card in History, because the third, even though some of the matches will go off, your chain will go off on turn 2, some of your matches will still go off on turn 3. If you're going first, it's a smaller chance for you to actually put it out all on turn 2. So we'll probably go on turn 3. And Chilled is really better for that situation. Another reason why I wanted to play Vegito as a leader, that when your opponent sees a Janemba leader from set 12 or a Soul Striker, they will probably think that you're playing a Janemba chain or something like that. But when you're using a Vegito leader with the with a small Vegito package that actually makes him go through, your opponent actually thinks they're playing against a turtle deck. And your worst matchup, which is green, which is a grind, uh, I don't know. If you steal a win when you see a green player charging a dormant potential on their first turn just because they think they're playing against a stall deck, I think you won then and there. Just morally, you got the high ground, and it's really fun to see your opponent's faces even during webcam events. That a Vegito leader can be used as generically as this can. So I wanted to use a rogue strategy and a really surprise kind of leader with this Janemba chain, and I believe that it's good. It's better than most leaders for the Janemba chain because it makes the unison really important, and your opponent has to deal not just with the Janembas, but with the Unison. One of the other changes I mentioned before, maybe I would do a 2-2 split between super combos, and I'm still deciding on the Skilla Janemba chain. Maybe put the only reason I would stay at 2-2 is 3-3 is that the 2-drop can be sometimes played by hard casting it. And the 3-drop is just that it can be played with Chilled, and by that he can start the Janemba chain all over again. The other change I would make is maybe since Vegito is not that I don't know, you don't just because of Vegito's ability with the Unison, you do not need to constantly restart your Janemba chain. So I would maybe put out the 2 combo attacks Janemba, put them in the side for maybe really slow matchup, and put a third Trunks Heroic Prospect and one overall card like, I don't know, Man on a Mission or the Secret Identity Black Mass Saiyan. Secret Identity Mass Saiyan just for block removals. Because you have your drop is filling up really nicely in the early turn, so you can use one of the overall cards and to still have a really low amount of non-blue cards that you can play. The side is really a mess, so excuse me because of that. I was trying to experiment with the side. So Baby Golden Avenger was here primarily because of green and because of the dormant potentials. The match just goes a long way. I played against Mattia uh, during a practice match. He played Gotenks, so you can beat Gotenks. It's not that difficult, but the dormants are really disrupting your plays. So basically, you will use your Baby Golden Avengers, which are a counter. You will negate their dormant on turn 5, so you can actually finish the game with the Janemba chain. The Xeno Unison will not help you that much, but the Janemba chain will. The combo attack Janemba was here like a third copy because I thought that I didn't see the 2 copies enough, but I saw them too much, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get them out. One of the 2 Dimension Magics was if someone would come with a green Gohan deck, and the Reaver Gohan is could be a potentially devastating matchup, but I don't know, put some more negates. Even the Green Gohan player will be really surprised if you start attacking him on turn 2. To Son Gohan and Piccolo's, I think that this is a really underrated blue-green card, and it's a great card for removal. So if your opponent is spamming blockers, even, I don't know, just putting out the potential 5k combos that they will use from the board, You his activate main for 1 blue is that you uh, discard him, and you take 2 of your opponent's battle cards with cost 3 or less, and put him at the bottom of their deck. 2 unexpected turns are here because we have an Agent of Destruction player, and it's good against Red Broly. Protector of the People was also for, I don't know, to try it against Agents of Destruction or Vegex, but since it's not a blue card, I did not side it in. And Max Power Kamehameha was here because of uh, some of the tall cards that can exist and be played, like Red Gojira, like Red Broly, even some of the Mecha Freezes cards that can be blockers, like the Rager's Warcry. He's not a blocker, but you know what I mean. One of the God Sealing techniques here was to put it against a deck that can play, I don't know, Topos or Outer Floodgate type battle cards, and against Freeze a Charismatic Villain. So when you play Janemba, that when he tries to respond with his counterplay, you have your own counterplay. And the fourth Senzu, but we all saw that how this went. I would like to thank you for this opportunity for me to explain myself. I will try to tinker some more with this build, and if you have any questions, please put it down in the comments below. I would really like to hear your feedback. Also, try this deck. It's not sometimes you have to have some luck playing it. I'm one of the players that I don't know. When I play some cards, I feel like Bandai should give me the option to play 6 copies of a single card, just for me to see it once during the game. But you know that's card games. Uh, the other thing I wanted to mention is that maybe the Trunks Heroic Prospect could be replaced with the new Goku and Vegeta Negate from the tournament kit number 3. Just because when your Nimbus Master doesn't go through and you're playing against a really aggro deck and you go in second, they can be a really cool negate. And even against OG Broly, it can be good to have a 1 cost battle card negate that when his leader swings, you can play your negate the attack. It's not because of the leader, because the leader is not critical or anything. But since you're not having a lot of battle cards in play, you will usually have only your Zeno or your Janemba. When his leader will attack you, he will kill your only battle card in play. So when he will attack, you will negate with a battle card, and then you will sack that battle card to actually remove it from play, not to actually sacrifice your Janemba play. Your Janemba chain that you so heavily invested to have it on board. Guys, I would like to thank you for your patience. I know I have probably been rambling a lot, but I don't care. I really want to share this with you, and I really believe that this deck is really cool. I will try to play it again, even maybe put it in an event or something like that. See how it fares against every other thing that actually exists. I would have to test it against launch. Against launch, I believe the Vegeta super combo will be just great. And until some other time, uh, I'm really looking forward to your responses. So, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.